160,007,031. As of right now, this very moment, these numbers probably have absolutely no meaning to you, and you have no idea what they stand for. Once I reveal what they represent, I hope that you feel the same thing that I felt was with a great concern for our public schools. So I guess you want to know what they mean, right? Well, 160,000 is the number of students per day who skip school. 7,000 is the number of students who drop out of school per day. And 31 is the number of students and staff who were killed on campus during the 2010 to 2011 school year. After being made aware of these stats, I couldn't help but to do a little more research on the issues that public schools are facing. During my research, I found that a number of problems that have affected the education of our students, and one of them is the school violence, which is the scariest. Some examples of the school violence, just in case the stats weren't enough, is one of the most famous, which is the Columbine High School Massacre that took the lives of 12 innocent students and one teacher. Another example of violence in school is the Sandy Hook shooting, which was another tragic school murder. Another problem that I noticed was the number of students dropping out of school throughout the nation. All4ed.org sums up high school dropouts not only reduces the amount of jobs that a person qualifies for, but it also affects the state, community, and the country financially and socially. It's hard to determine exactly what could cause these problems in school. One of the most obvious causes is the way that a student dresses, which can disrupt the learning process. For many years, there's been an ongoing debate whether or not students' dress can promote violence and cause distraction in schools. I believe it does, and here's why. First, we have to take a journey back to the Columbine High School Massacre. Two gunmen were able to conceal weapons underneath their trench coats and walk onto campus and open fire. This is an example of how baggy clothes made it easy for them to conceal the weapons. Another example of dress-related violence is when an honor student was shot and killed over a designer jacket. According to eduguide.org, students who go to school in cities highly populated with gang violence are at risk for being bullied or at risk for violence just because of the color that they wear. From a student perspective, the Journal of Education administered a survey of 213 inner city schools and found that 74% of the students stated they received some type of violence, whether it's personal or physical, because of the way that they dressed. Students who received verbal or physical harm because of the way they dressed, it also affected their school attendance because they were too afraid to show up. And that is what leads to those 160,000 students that skip school every day. Even if you don't completely agree that the way a student dresses can cause violence, you have to at least admit that the dress can cause a distraction in their classroom. Kids tend to spend more time worrying about what they're wearing and getting ready for school. And if you don't believe me, just go to the first day of school on any campus, and then you can thank me for the free fashion show. On the other side of that, according to the Journal of Negro Education, some parents are faced with the guilt or shame because they're not able to afford the designs and the trends that the students are demanding. Teachers, too, are distracted because they spend so much time in the classroom correcting the dress code and what the students are wearing. and that's taken away from valuable learning time. So I've just identified problems that public schools face and the cause. Now the big question is, what is the solution? If public schools across the nation would implement school uniform policies, this would be a great start to help improve safety and student performance and behavior problems. I understand some that oppose the school uniform policy because they say that it takes away from their creativity and their personal style. But I think it's more important to provide safety to the students. Students who live in cities that are affected by gang violence, they won't have to worry about what colors they wear to school because it'll be the same all across the board. Students, they'll be less likely to be teased or bullied for wearing the clothes that are outdated or dirty or shabby because, again, there's the uniformity of the school uniforms. Everyone will look the same. This will also give the kids one less reason to skip school because they don't have to worry about what they're wearing. School uniforms can be beneficial to eliminating distractions for students, parents, and teachers. Students won't have to spend a long time preparing what they're going to wear every day just to keep up with the trends. They can spend more time on homework and studying or even getting more rest. And the parents won't have to worry about feeling guilty because they can't afford the things that their kids want. Also, the teachers wouldn't have to spend so much time in the classrooms reprimanding their students for not wearing appropriate attire. In conclusion, school uniforms won't make a perfect school, but in the words of former President Clinton, I quote, "If it means that teenagers will stop killing each other over designer jackets, then our public schools should be able to require their students to wear school uniforms." Thank you.
Now, when you were doing your research, did you find any schools with uniforms that had any students at all?